By this time next month as a shot and a nasal spray.
Now tonight's Unit 5 report, and the little McHenry girl who found herself at the center of a complicated medical and legal debate. She's just 6 years old, and her story starts on the day she says she thought monsters were attacking her in her own basement. Our Lisa Parker picks up her story. Lisa?
And Allison, the monsters in question were actually unnecessary shocks from a defective medical device. The child you are about to hear from is just one of thousands of people who had similar problems, but her story grew legs and has now been heard by some of the most powerful politicians on Capitol Hill as they consider making a change in patients' rights.
Here she comes.
The first week of first grade.
How was your lunch? Let me see.
Spend a few minutes with Avery DeGros,
perspicacious,
and you will understand why supporters of a complicated piece of legislation brought this McHenry 6-year-old to the nation's capital twice recently to tell her story.
When I got the shocks, I was saying the monsters were getting me.
When she was just 2, Avery got a defibrillator to combat a hereditary heart condition shared by her mom, Molly.
The first symptom of long QT syndrome is usually sudden death.
With the device in, the DeGros say they rested easier until almost precisely 1 year later.
I just heard these blood-curdling screams.
She picked her right up, and she could feel the electricity pulsing through her body.
The DeGros say Avery's defibrillator started firing one day relentlessly.
She was shocked 9 times in about a half an hour.
So doctors turned it off. The McHenry family didn't know it that day, but Medtronic, the maker of the defibrillator leads inside Avery, had received other similar reports of shocks and soon
some deaths and major complications
issued a voluntary recall. Avery already had the surgery to replace the device by the time Medtronic revealed the numbers, 2,200 injuries and 13 deaths connected with the defective parts.
We called Medtronic and said, how does the reimbursement work for Avery's surgery? And they said, you're out of luck.
The lawsuit they filed to recover their $30,000 surgical bill will likely now be dismissed, along with thousands of others, due to a recent Supreme Court ruling that protects medical device makers from lawsuits.
It just simply doesn't make sense that we should allow complete immunity to an entity that is profiting from the sale of a product, and when it's defective, when it injures, when it kills, to completely walk away from that.
The ruling basically gives immunity if a device has received specific approval from the Food and Drug Administration, an agency recently berated in a Government Accountability Office report that concluded that the FDA has approved many medical devices that have never been shown to be safe or effective, leading critics to say an FDA approval just isn't enough.
Is Avery here today? Hi, Avery.
And that is what comes back last month to support the Medical Device Safety Act, which would restore to victims of defective devices that right to sue.
We're going to have a lot of problems with medical devices getting to market.
Opponents say the act could inadvertently harm patients.
I don't want there to be an incentive there for companies to not come up with new technology and keep on evolving and coming up with better ways to treat people.
The range of medical devices affected would be huge. But for this family, it comes down to the number 3, the devices in mother, daughter, and very soon, little brother Ollie.
I'd say, like, if you want to make them the right way.
The DeGros are now on the hook for that $30,000 bill. They say their insurance company said the device maker should pay it, but the device maker denied their claim because they used another company's defibrillator and leads for that second implant. Medtronic would not comment on the specifics of this case, but said that in general, health insurance does pay for these type of procedures. The Medical Device Safety Act could come up for a vote sometime this fall, but obviously with the overall healthcare debate, it's being pushed back a little bit.
Out of the mouths of babes, Avery, just make it right. But if this act does pass, how does this impact her case?
Her lawsuit and thousands of others that are tied up into this, affected by that Supreme Court ruling, would essentially be able to go forward. That law would supersede the Supreme Court ruling.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Mayor Daley was on hand today at the Chicago Cultural Center to help kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. The nationwide celebration recognizes the influence of Hispanic culture, Hispanic heritage.